Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to create a responsive WordPress Contact Form 7 design for your website using the Contact Form 7 plugin. In this Contact Form 7 WordPress tutorial, I will not only show you how to customize your contact form, but also how to make it highly responsive for any device. Before we begin the process of creating this Contact Form 7 style, let's take a look at the final version of the contact form. This contact form has a total of 4 input fields: name, email, subject, and message area. All of the input fields have Google Material icons as a placeholder, as well as having a required asterisk icon. And all of the input fields have a red bottom border focus, which is looking amazing. Unlike the default message input area, this message input area has minimum and maximum character input limits, which will prevent the users from sending meaningless messages that are too short, as well as unnecessarily lengthy messages. Furthermore, I have also changed the default appearance of the success and error response messages. When your message is successfully sent, you will see this type of response message in green text on a light green background. And if a user makes a mistake, he or she will see this type of response message in red text on a light red background. Last but not least, this WordPress Contact Form 7 is not only visually appealing but also extremely responsive. For example, on desktop devices, the name and email fields will be aligned side by side, whereas on tablet and mobile devices, all input fields will take up the entire width. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. To create this beautiful Contact Form 7 design, you will be required to install only 2 plugins. The first is Contact Form 7, which has over 5 million active installations, and the second is the Elementor Page Builder. To install the required plugins, first, go to the WordPress dashboard. Then hover over the Plugins tab, and then click on Add New. Now just type Contact Form 7 in the plugins search field. Here you will get a plugin with the same name by Takayuki Miyoshi. Simply install and activate this plugin. Similarly, install and activate the Elementor plugin too. Once you will install the required plugin, then hover over the Contact tab. Then click on the Contact Forms option. Now here you will get a default design of the Contact Form 7. You can edit this form from here, or you can also add a fresh contact form after clicking on this button. For now, we don't require to add a new form because the default one is sufficient for us, so let's edit this form as per our needs. Once you will click on the edit link, then the HTML backbone of the same Contact Form 7 will open. Select and delete the entire code because we don't need this default code. Instead, we will create our own. Now let's create a wrapper div with the responsive form wrapper class. Let's create a container div inside the wrapper div with the responsive form container class. Now, within the container div, create a heading with the responsive form heading class. And 4 divs with the form row class. Now add an additional class in the first form row div with the name of name email field. Let's create 2 divs with the column half class inside the first div with the form row class. Let's create a div with the class column full within the second, third, and fourth divs with the form row class. Let's now add a name input field label, a name input field shortcode, and a span with the required asterisk class to the first div with the class column half. Let's add an email input field label, an email input field shortcode, and a span with the required asterisk class to the second div with the class name column half. Let's now add a subject input field label, a subject input field shortcode, and a span with the required asterisk class to the first div with the class name column full. Let's now add a message input field label, a message input field shortcode, and a span with the required asterisk class to the second div with the class name column full. Finally, add a shortcode for a submit button, as well as an additional class inside the third and last column full div with the class name form submit btn. Now that we have successfully created the HTML backbone of our Contact Form 7 style, let's move on to the CSS styling. Before we begin CSS styling of our contact form, let me add it to our website's home page. To do so, first, copy the form shortcode from here, and then open your website's home within the Elementor editor. By the way, while this Contact Form 7 will work with any editor, we will be using Elementor editor for the moment, because Elementor is the most popular page builder on the market. To add the Contact Form 7, you don't need any fancy widget. If you are using the Elementor editor, simply paste the copied Contact Form 7 shortcode into a text editor widget. And if you are using a native WordPress editor, then paste the copied Contact Form 7 shortcode into a shortcode block. For now, we will use the simple text editor widget because we're using the Elementor editor. Now first, scroll down to the location where you want to add your WordPress Contact Form 7. Now here is one thing you need to keep in mind. I am using the alpha version of the Elementor Flexbox container layout. The Flexbox container feature will soon replace the Elementor editor's current section column and inner section layout. I am using this Elementor Flexbox container layout because I wanted to make this tutorial more relevant in the future. By the way, this Contact Form 7 style will work with both column-based as well as the Flexbox container-based layouts of Elementor. If you want to use this Contact Form 7 on your live website, then create it with the current Elementor layout to ensure that everything works properly on your website. Now, within a container, add a heading, a divider, and a text editor one after the other. To add a container, you can either drag and drop a container into this box, or you can also click this button to add one. Now, change the heading and paragraph text content to suit your needs. Now change the divider width, font family, color, size, and weight of your heading and paragraph as desired. To create the same type of contact form 7 design as shown in the video intro, add a single container, then add 2 more child containers inside the same container. One thing you must remember when adding child containers, do not put one child container inside another. In another word, add them as a sibling inside the main container. To avoid making this mistake, add the main parent container first, then a child container, and then duplicate the same child container using the Navigator tool. Now, select the main container from the Navigator list. Then click on the Items tabs under the Layout section of the container settings. Next, set the flex direction to row, and reduce the elements gap to 0 pixels. Now inside the left side child container, add a text editor widget, then paste the copied contact form 7 shortcode. Now, select the right side child container, and you'll see the basic layout of our contact form appears. Our contact form 7 design is not looking good because we have not yet styled our contact form design. In the next step, we'll style our contact form 7 design, but first let's add a heading, an icon list, and a social icons widget to our right side child container. Let me now customize the right side child container's added items. Now, we have almost done with our Elementor page editor portion. We will return later to make our contact forms address section responsive. Let's stylize our contact form 7 using CSS. To do so, go to the WordPress dashboard. Then hover over the Appearance tab, and then click on Customize option. Now, scroll down a little. and you'll see an option with the name of additional CSS, or custom CSS, or something similar. Just click on that. By the way, if your theme does not allow you to add custom CSS, or if you want to add your contact form CSS in a separate location, then don't worry, you can use any good plugin for this purpose, such as Simple JS and CSS. If you're unfamiliar with coding, then don't worry, I have included a download link for the code snippet in the video description, along with other important links. Let's now add CSS for our contact forms wrapper div. Now here are CSS properties for display layout, horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, and margin value. Let's now add CSS to target the container div of our contact form. Here you will get a few important properties such as content area width and items gap for overall content customization. Now, this code block is for this heading. With the help of this code block, you can change the font family, font size, text alignment, margin, and color of your contact form heading. Now, this code is for form background, border, and padding. Here this code block is for the name and email input fields. Now here, if you want these fields to stack on each other, then change the flex direction property to column. This code block is for the width of the name and email input fields. Now, this is the CSS code block for field labels. From here, you can change the font family, font size, and float position. Now here these code lines are for placeholder icons. Make sure to don't change or remove this font family, otherwise placeholder icons will not show. By the way, if you have noticed, our placeholder icons are currently not displaying because we have not added the Google Material Icons CDN link to our contact form page. In fact, let me show you how to add the Google Material Icons CDN link. To do so, first, publish the custom CSS. Then go to the fonts.google.com/icons. Once the website will load, then select the material icons from this drop-down and select the filled option. Now click on any icon. Then click on the instruction link. Once you will click on the same link, then this page will open. Now here you will get the HTML CDN link for the Google Material Icons. Simply copy the same link from here, and then open the same page where you have added the Contact Form 7 design using the Elementor editor. Now insert an HTML widget below this paragraph. And then paste the copied Google Material Icons CDN link. Now update the page, and then refresh it. Here you can see that our placeholder icons are displayed correctly. Now, let's see how we can change these placeholder icons. To do so, go back to the Google Material icon page. Here make sure that these two options are correctly selected. Now, using this search bar, search for any icon you want. Then click on the icon whichever you like. Once you will click on any icon, then detailed information about that icon will appear on the right side. Now scroll down, and you will get a code under the code point area. Simply copy it after clicking here. Now open the HTML code of your contact form. Now here you will get the material icon code for the name, email, subject, and message area placeholder. Let's change the placeholder icon of the name input field. To change the icon, delete this much code written in between these quotation marks, and then paste the copied code of the desired material icon. Finally, just save the changes. Now, return to the custom CSS page and refresh it. Now here you can see that we have successfully changed the placeholder icon of the name input field. Now let's stylize the appearance of these input fields. Now here you can customize the few very important properties of these fields, such as padding, font family, font size, line height, background color, input text color, field border, border radius, and margin values. This code block is particularly will affect the appearance of the message input area. With the help of this code block, you can specify the minimum height and line height of the message area. This code block especially highlights the input field currently in use. Here you can focus on the currently in use input field with the help of changed background color and bottom border color of the same input field. This code block is responsible for the appearance of the required asterisk signs that appear inside the input fields. Here don't change any property other than content, color, top and bottom position, margin, and font size for the required sign. Now, this code block is especially for the appearance of the Submit button. Here you can change the text color, font family, font size, font weight, text transformation, button background color, padding, border, border radius, letter spacing, margin, and hover animation transition time. This code block is particularly for the Submit button hover effect. With the help of this code block, you can change the background color and box shadow that appears after the button has hovered. This code block is for the click and hold effect on the Submit button. This code block controls the alignment and position of the Submit button. Now here we have defined the media query code blocks for the mobile devices with screens smaller than 769 pixels. Now, this media query code block is for staking the name and email input on top of each other, as shown here. This media query code block is for the name and email input fields on mobile devices. This media query code block is for the alignment and position of the submit button on mobile devices. Now, this code block is for the tooltip for the invalid entry. This code block is for the appearance of this error response message. This code block is for the appearance of this success response message. Now that we have successfully stylized our contact form design with CSS, in the end, just publish the changes. Now let's make our contact form's address field responsive. To do so, open the same page where you have added the contact form 7 using Elementor editor. Now, select the responsive tool and follow along with me. Here feel free to adjust the address field as you like, these are not hard and fast rules. Now let's see some fundamental settings for making our contact form 7 fully functional. To do so, open the Contact tab from your WordPress dashboard, and then click on the Edit link to open the same contact form design. Now here, switch to the Email tab. Here all the default field entries are looking good, except the From field email address, and this message body shortcode. In the From field, replace the default email address with your SMTP email account. By the way, if you don't know how to set up a professional email SMTP for sending emails, then don't worry, I have a video tutorial on the same topic, which you can watch via the end screen or the description link. Second, you need to change this shortcode of message body. To do so, first, delete this message body shortcode. Then copy this correct shortcode from here, and paste the copied shortcode in the same location. Finally, save the changes. If you want a more in-depth details of these options, then you can watch my previous video on Contact Form 7 creation and customization from the description. Guys, I just want to let you know that it took me almost 15 hours to make this video for you, so please like and subscribe, it will only take you 2 seconds, and if you are facing any problems, please let me know in the comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, I will see you next time.